We never know where life will lead us or what may hinder us along the way. But while every day can feel like one big question mark, it doesn't have to. With the right insights, strategies, and solutions from Western and Southern Financial Group, together we can look ahead to leave the unknown behind.
Wydermyer, I hardly know her. Sorry, I didn't tell the joke to him on. He's a really fucking nice guy, but I feel like
How did you not?
I feel like I could have, but I get a little intimidated on those, right? Those guys are big ball. Like guys gonna be making tens of multiple millions of dollars a year.
Come on.
Maybe 1 year in my Catch and Only Buzz. Let's start with kind of a shitty spot, man. John Madden, obviously like famed Raiders head coach. It reminded me a lot of my dad. Like when I found out, I thought a lot about my dad. Like my dad is such a big Madden guy. He's like always talked about Madden in high regard, and like he was like alive and well, like big Raiders fan when Madden was the coach. 80, 83. My dad was born in the 70s or early 70s. Like he was a big Raiders fan when Madden was like a legit coach for the Raiders. He talked about him in high regard. And then obviously the broadcaster, right? Like it felt for Chris. I texted Chris last night. Chris obviously had a really good relationship with John Madden. Chris Collinsworth, owner of the company, also broadcaster, obviously. And then the game, right? Like he has impacted so many people, and that one fucking hurt, dude. I know Madden is like older, right? And like that's like whatever, but like I mean that one was a surprising one. And honestly, like I kind of sent out a tweet or whatever, but like obviously rest in peace, John Madden. This fucking stinks. He has been and will be one of the most influential people in the NFL and in football, and has like touched so many people. I think this one sucked, man. This one really sucked.
He was not only one of the most beloved sort of people in the sport, or just like generally like universally loved. And it's because he was genuine. Like he was that guy. He lived everything that he said on TV and everything he was as a coach and everything in the game. He was genuine to everyone. Like the stories that have come out afterwards have all been like very touching and very indicative of who he was. And then just to me, as my basically history of the game, like him announcing Packers games is my childhood. Like that was like me growing up. What made me fall in love with the game was not only watching him on TV and how entertaining he was as a broadcaster, but then the game itself, playing in my teenage years, playing a ton of Madden, learning football that way. Like, I think this is one where everyone, besides a couple people on Twitter, we're universally.
Do we want to give these people more?
I think we should at least. One of them was incredible.
I'm not going to read their name because I don't want any fame or any more. But like, there were some people on Twitter who just like are ridiculous, right? Like someone dies. Is this impactful? But like, regardless of how impactful he was, someone dies. Like a human being dies. Yeah. And they find that as an opportunity to leverage search engine optimization and trending topics to send out stuff like this. Like this person, everyone eulogizing Madden. How many concussions could have been prevented had he not turned brain injuries into a video game? Like that's just like legitimately, regardless, argue it's falsehood, argue it's merit. He just fucking died. Like, what is your problem? Like, what is honestly...
That guy can't actually believe that, right?
He can't, right?
Like, he's just trying to go viral, which is still fucked up, but that guy legitimately...
But there's like a legitimate like 5-tweet thread after where like they're like digging in, right? Like Madden is not solely responsible for the fact, but it has played a big role or whatever. It's such a disaster. I don't even want to read any more of these around. This is butt.
I did like this story though from Cincinnati here. One of the former sports director for WCPO here in town tweeted this out. He said, "I once interviewed John Madden at the Westin where the CBS crew was staying. He came all alone, explained that everyone else had gone to lunch at Masonette, which is a former restaurant here in town. It's a nice restaurant. And then John Popovich asked him, 'Why didn't you go?' I asked, 'Oh, I went to Skyline,' Madden said. There were still chili stains on his shirt." And that my friends, is why Madden's the best.
Chris Collinsworth also, and I don't want to spend obviously a ton of time on this tragic situation, but Chris Collinsworth released a statement that I thought was freaking awesome. If you love football, John Madden was probably part of the reason why. If you were lucky enough to watch his Raiders, you were likely inspired watching his free-spirited team play with such heart. If you watched him as a broadcaster, you learned the game from the inside out through the eyes of a former offensive lineman who understood every nuance of the game. But as a broadcaster, he will always be remembered as the original LOL. He could make you laugh for reasons you couldn't explain, but always treasured. And if you remember him for his video game, you probably learned how to play football without ever touching a ball. But I will remember him for the night he had dinner with me at our house. I introduced him to my two boys who both played in junior football league. John asked them about their respective teams. An hour later, John excused himself from dinner, having spent his entire time breaking down the offensive and defensive schemes for those two teams. My boys will never forget that, neither will I. Chris Collinsworth. That was heartfelt, man. He was a big part of Chris's life, and John Madden, man, fucking legend. Absolute legend. To lighten the tone, I'm deleting my Twitter account. I sent this out. Okay, so here's the breakdown. I sent out a tweet that was terrible. It's one of my. I want to delete it, but I can't. Drake London's 2021 tape is quote unquote absolutely wild. Not a take, trash, not descriptive, but he should be in the wide receiver one conversation. Not a take, trash, but
the best thing was I kind of saw the genesis of it because you sent me a message on Slack before this, being like, I can tell you're watching Drake London's tape and you're getting excited and you're like, I don't think wide receiver one's as crazy as, like, I don't think his tape's great. Like,
I did a bad job explaining it, but yeah.
Yeah. And so then about 5 minutes later, this tweet comes out and you got caught up in what we like make fun of here is you just get excited about a guy's tape and you want to say something, but you don't like formulate like an actual point or hammer home a take about it. It's just the tape's wild.
Yeah. I mean, so here's my thing. Drake London, before the season, I thought I would never be having the conversation that he'd be wide receiver one. Like I think it was Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, like maybe that was pretty much it, right? Like I didn't think anyone would even come into the conversation. Drake London, though, like going back and watching his tape and obviously watching it throughout the season before he got hurt, like he was different this year, like legitimately separating as a big dude, like 6'5", 215, and like separating at that size. Now he should enter that conversation for me. And I know that's not a take. If I could resend this tweet, Drake London's tape is good for these reasons, separation improved, what he's doing at his size, and he should be the wide receiver one, at worst wide receiver two wide receiver three in this class.
My take, or how I would formulate a tweet off of this disaster, is I think the takeaway to me is there's a clear tier one of wide receiver in this draft class. It is Garrett Wilson, it is Drake London, it is Jamison Williams, and in that
not
tier
Burks.
Burks. Oh no, not Traylon Burks. No, sorry, that's the tier one. Those three, clear cut tier one, in my opinion. And of that tier, who you're drafting first is purely
what you want.
Yes. It is, do you want speed, vertical threat? You draft Jameson Williams. Do you want possession, bigger wide receiver? Maybe help you in the running game with run blocking better. A guy can do that. Drake London. If you want pure outside separator, Garrett Wilson. That to me is how I see this wide receiver.
And some of that Drake London conversation that we were having in Slack too, right? I was talking a little bit about like Garrett Wilson's weight. Like I think he might come in at like 6 foot, 185 to 190, like a small dude. He's gonna be small. And if he, everyone I've talked to says Olave is faster in a straight line, and Olave will run a faster 40. Now Olave looks like a 4.4s guy, right? Yeah. Like a not a 4.3s type.
4.4s confirmed at whatever.
Yeah, 4.4s. If Garrett Wilson goes out there at 6 foot, 186, 188, and runs like a 4.55, 4.6, that's gross. Like that's like gross. So I hope that doesn't happen. And if it does, though, I think it could lead to Drake London entering the wide receiver one conversation with absolutely wild 2021 tape. No, I'm not going to dig in, though. I'm not going to double down. That was a fucking trash tweet. Everyone, save your likes. Someone commented that. I laughed out loud. Save your likes. Don't like that tweet. Don't like that tweet. It's bad. It's not a good tweet. It's trash. Whatever. Anyway, let's get to the college football playoff. College football playoff, one, you and I are watching the game in Clifton, right? My take in the office, right? Everyone's been like, oh, I really want to watch a game. I don't want to go out for it. I know it's New Year's Day or New Year's Eve on Friday. That's fine. It's big. I want to watch the game. If you aren't in Clifton, which is where University of Cincinnati is based here in Cincy, it's the area of Cincy called Clifton. If you're not in Clifton and this game is close, you're going to be hating yourself.
That's true.
Clifton's going to light on fire if they come close or win this game.
That's true. I think I'm coming around to going to Clifton for it.
You should.
Also, school's out too. It might not be as crowded as you think it is.
Yeah,
No, it's true. A lot of not a lot of the freshmen there, regardless. But like I think, so say we go to Clifton, right? The game starts at 3:30. Go to Clifton, and they're getting blown out. We leave. We can leave. Like, we don't have to be there the whole time. We can leave and go watch the game back at the office or do whatever you want to do on New Year's Day. But I think we have to be there in Clifton for this.
I would hate myself if Cincinnati wins and not get to experience
100%.
that. But they are 13.5-point dogs.
I know what they are.
I do think, though, and I do think they cover. I think this defense matched up well. And it's like, yeah, they just torched Georgia, but I think Georgia did some things they regret defensively and would have a different game plan next time out against Alabama. And Alabama's also going to be a different offense without John Mechie. Mm-hmm. And so Cincinnati has a top-flight corner. Cincinnati has a better cornerback than anyone on Georgia, for my money, in Ahmad Gardner. That can go follow around Jameson Williams if you want, or you can bracket Jameson Williams if you want. Luke Fickell's no slouch as a defensive mind himself. He's going to come with a game plan. You give him a month, he's going to find a way to stop Jameson, maybe not stop Jameson Williams, but do things to slow down this offense with really only now one of their top receiving threats. So 13.5 points at that point. The biggest worry to me is their run defense. What are they going to do against the Alabama offensive line? And then what are they going to do to protect Desmond Ridder? Because those are the places where you're just outmanned, is along the line of scrimmage.
I have confidence that they'll cover the 13.5, like again, like the 2 touchdown thing. I don't know. It'll be a hard fought game. I think they have a better shot. What's crazy is looking at that 13.5 line, right? Alabama versus Cincy. There are lines in the NFL that are bigger than that this week. Yeah. Bills, Falcons at 14, Jaguars, Patriots at 15.5, Bucks, Jets at 13. You rarely see like Group of 5 versus Bama, and the line's not even as big as the widest line in fucking the NFL. That's insane. Like, they're giving Cincinnati's getting a lot of respect here. I think a lot of people would expect this thing at like 20 and a half. Yeah. 13.5, they're giving Cincinnati some respect. I do think that they match up well. And if I'm betting,
that's better than Notre Dame got last year. Notre Dame, but also Bama was a little different last year too.
The issue, too, I think, is if you tease it, right? So teasing it is getting like 6 points either side. If you tease it, you only get it to 7.5. So you don't get the hook, right? Getting it over that key number matters. You hate when I talk about key numbers and betting, but like this is not a teaser spot either for Cincinnati. If you're betting Cincinnati, just take the 13.5 points, maybe buy up to 14 or whatever. But I think I'm betting Cincinnati this week. I like Cincinnati to match up well. I'm betting them to cover the spread. And I might sprinkle a little Cheddar Bay biscuit on the money line here. Why not? A little extra beers for the Cincinnati Legends if they do win. Georgia, Michigan. Georgia favored by 7.5. This one I don't think is going to be as close. I think Georgia, talking about Cincinnati and Bama matching up well, I don't know if Michigan matches up well with this Georgia defense, right? Like Michigan has won football games single-handedly with that rushing attack. Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, I think their offensive line won the Joe Moore Award. Like this is legitimately a running football team that has hid a lot of errors from Cade McNamara, who's had a really good season. I'm not saying McNamara's played like shit, but McNamara is not what has gotten him this point. Right? There is still a lot of hope in the building for J.J. McCarthy, that true freshman, to be the future at that position, potentially even as soon as next year. Cade McNamara, if he has to win this game, they're not winning, and it's not going to be close. So if Georgia does stuff the run, as they have done all year, I looked at every defense in the PFF era, college era. We've been tracking defenses since college since 2014. This is a top 4 defense against the run in EPA per play allowed among any Power 5 defense. It's legit. I think this Michigan team can't run the football as effectively as they want to. And even if Georgia can't put up points, I think that's still enough for them to potentially cover the 7.5.
Yeah. And Michigan, for as good and cohesive as their offensive line has been, there's still no replacement for talent. Like they don't have elite NFL prospects. Georgia does. And when you go up against elite NFL prospects, the elite NFL prospects tend to win. I don't think the running game, Harbaugh's going to have to reach deep into his bag of tricks to pull out a W here. However, 7.5 is a lot for a team has struggled as much as Georgia has offensively at times this season. Georgia is not a juggernaut by any means on the offensive side of the ball. So this one's tough. I'm still going to lean with Georgia, though, because like I said, that defense, I trust the results I saw all year long, and where they got exposed, I don't foresee Michigan being able to expose at those levels. Like that where they got exposed was Bryce Young dropping fucking dimes. You know, I'm not trusting Cade McNamara, to do the same.
It is a teaser spot, though. At 7.5, you get 6, goes down to a 1.5, essentially a pick for Georgia. I kind of like that. If you have another leg, another college football bowl game you want to pair it up with, or even an NFL game, could be a teaser spot if you like Georgia and you don't like the extra hook on the 7. But I think I'm betting Georgia, betting Cincy. That's my take. If it does go as planned, Bama, Georgia, again, round 2 in the NCAA championship, the college football playoff championship, whatever they call it these days. Who do you think is favored, and who do you think wins?
Oof. I think Georgia wins it all.
No way, really?
Yeah, I think Georgia wins.
What adjustments do they make?
I mean,
what can they make? I think Bryce Young still just ruins them, and they keep Jordan Davis on the field, and they just throw all over him again.
I think they have a better pass rush plan. I think they will put brackets on Jameson Williams instead of, not having Mechie in there.
I think Bama's favored this time around, though. I think Bama by 3.
Yes, I can see that.
I think Bama by 3.5, actually.
Yeah.
Bama 3.5 over Georgia. If they both win, the favorites win. Let's get to the NFL slate. The NFL slate is going to be a treat. There's a lot of bad games, but there are some good games. Rams.
Breaking.
Love that analysis. I might tweet that. NFL Week 17. A lot of good games, a lot of bad games, all of which will be fun to watch and should be in the conversation for good games.
Best week of the season.
Rams at Ravens. Ravens are 3.5-point dogs at home. Did you or did you not see the video of Lamar Jackson limping on whatever that field is they practice on?
Yeah, the
yellow, whatever the fuck that is.
The dead grass.
The dead grass. Is it dead grass or is it painted yellow? I don't know. It looks too dead to be dead grass.
It was violently dead. It looked like, so there are like golf courses that intentionally brown in the wintertime, like the blade of grass or whatever browns. Have you?
Bermuda grass
is
what that's called.
Okay.
Wow. Quinn,
you know what Bermuda grass is. But there's like golf course. I played on golf courses where like in the winter it is brown. You still play it. That looked like that.
I just dropped a tweet in the tailgate chat. It's that brown. That is so consistently brown though. I've never seen grass that like not patchy dead. Like this is dead. Like every single blade on that bitch is dead. I've seen dead grass before, but it's never like this uniform, right? I mean, it looks insane.
We need to get a agricultural.
Well, it sounds like
scientist.
Quinn is one of them. Bermuda grass over here. The Bermuda Triangle's live. Quinn, you see the video. What's your take on it? Is that Bermuda?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I know what Bermuda grass is because I like to golf. I'm not a horticultural expert.
Oh, there we go.
Is that what it's really called?
Wow.
Horticulture?
Yeah, that's like lawn.
Anyway,
and stuff, right?
We've gone off on the grass for too long. Lamar Jackson's like notably limping or gimping in this video. I have two takes. One, he's hurt. Yeah, he's practicing. He's hurt, and he's not going to play because it looks bad. Two, he's not hurt. He knows this video is going to be viral. And they're trying to show that maybe Lamar Jackson's not going to play to throw the Rams off. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that would throw him off. I'm not sure it matters. I'll take the Rams either way with this line.
Really?
Yeah. I
on the road.
I get that it's on the road.
Dead grass.
We all saw what happened last week. This defense is just down too badly at the moment. I like the Rams in that.
All right. I like the Rams as well. What do you think this line would move to if it was announced that Lamar Jackson wasn't playing? Right? Does it move a ton?
Have to be 6.5, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was wondering if it moves even a ton. Like, could it just be 4.5? Because I think an injured Lamar Jackson right now, looking at the GIMP, and the line hasn't moved a ton since the dead grass video has been surfaced. I could see Huntley named the starter. This line moves as far as 4.5, 5.5, but I don't know if it even gets through 7. So maybe bet the Rams now while Lamar Jackson limps around on the practice field. Falcons at Bills. This line is massive, man. This is too much. Bills favored by 14 at home over, yes, a bad Falcons team, but a Kyle Pitts-led Falcons team that's trying to break a rookie record. 14 points feels too much. I think the Bills will be in control. I think it's going to be outside in Buffalo, and it's going to be tough for the Falcons to put up points. I smell a cheeky Matt Ryan backdoor for the 14. I think it's a backdoor. I think the Bills dominate. They never look out of it. They always look in control. But towards the back end, maybe Josh Allen doesn't even play the fucking fourth quarter. The Falcons crawl back in and sneak in the backdoor.
14 is a lot. But the Falcons also are a tough offense. They have, like you said, Kyle Pitts looking for 1,000. That's it. Okay, best running back game, sure, but their offense line's kind of butt too. Like we've seen them go in the tank. Shout out against the Patriots earlier this year. 3 points against the Falcons. I think against defense like what Buffalo has, you will see something similar. So I'm going to take the 14. That's a lot.
Wow, really?
But Bills at home, I'll take it.
I'm taking Falcons plus 14. Here's why. You always make fun of me because I called Cordero Patterson best running back in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Stephon Diggs, do you respect his opinion?
Sure. I saw this.
Yeah. Do you respect his opinion? I'm just asking.
About what?
About running back talent.
No, he's watched.
Stephon Diggs said Cordero Patterson is the most talented player he's ever seen with the ball in his hands besides Adrian Peterson. Generational talent. So I didn't even go that far. Stephon Diggs went far. Talk about having a take.
He probably just doesn't watch a lot of running backs. I can see.
Oh, stop. Anyway, I'm taking Falcons plus 14. Giants, Bears. All right, I'm on to Chiefs. This game is going to be awful.
Yeah.
This game's going to be terrible. It might be
we
Jake
want to bet
Fromm
it just because
versus
you don't have
Glennon.
to watch it.
Foles.
Yeah. It's going to be rough, and I just can't in good conscience spot a bad team 6 points. I don't care how bad the other bad team is.
Yeah.
It's like you're a bad. It was like the same argument with the Seahawks last week going against the Bears. It's like Seahawks are not a good team. They shouldn't, like when you get a touchdown, it's not a good team. There's just too many things that can bounce your way when you are a team that's bad. I don't know how to harp too much more on this point, but 6 points is just a lot there.
Dude, it's a 6-point spread. Bears are favored at home. And Joe Judge said this week that he's going to figure out who starts in practice. Have you not seen enough of Mike Glennon to make a decision? Or like, is it Jake Fromm like having a really good 3 days? Like, I always find it wild that like, yep, these 2 or 3 days of practice is really what's going to determine who plays at quarterback. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Open competition. Urban Meyer.
Open competition this late in the season. I mean, that's just disastrous. I think there is value on the Giants. The total is also like 37. So a 6-point line on a 37 total just feels ridiculous. I think the Giants plus 6. But also, I said this in my notes: don't watch this game. Don't bet on this game. It's not what you need. Okay, there's 9 games on the 1:00 slate. Find another game. If you live in Chicago, find another game. Stream something. Let me know. I'll give you my YouTube TV password. Please don't watch this game. Chiefs at Bengals. Bengals. Man, this is. Before we get into this game, I got to get an ad read because you need some time. This is a big game. X-Chair. Proud sponsor of the Tailgate Podcast. Working from home is more important now than ever. Optimize your home office with an X chair and many of our accessories to enhance your focus, productivity, energy, and comfort. Once you feel the customized support of X-Chair's patented dynamic variable lumbar, there's no going back. It's all in the LMX massage temperature and regulation. Exclusively designed and made for X-Chair with versatile comfort and extraordinary design, X-Chair legitimately fits any space. High performance, quality engineering, extreme comfort. Go to xchairtailgate.com now. That's the letter X, chair, TAILGATE.com, or call 1-844-4-X-Chair for $100 off your first order. X-Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase for as low as $30 a month. XChairTailgate.com. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. 2 things. 1, if you send me a picture of you in this X chair, like just getting into that feeling, because remember there's part of the read that's like I sit in my X chair just getting that feeling, I will send you a PFF tailgate hat. That's what I can do, and I need it. 2, hand me the smelling salts because I need to rip them before we get into Chiefs Bengals. It's the game of the week.
Enjoy yourself.
Game of the week, baby. Game of the week.
It really is. We'll be somewhere for this one.
Oh my God.
I'm excited. They clinched the North with this. They clinched the North. That's big.
Game of the week in all caps leads off AG's notes. If you are betting KC, here's betting advice to start. I would buy, up to 6.5, right? Like 5 points, like this. I think Chiefs win by this. I would buy up to 6.5 if you are going to.
You don't think it's gonna be close if the Chiefs win?
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be close if the Chiefs win. I don't think this is a freaking. If it becomes a shootout, right, and it's Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes, I don't know. That would be rare, but I like. If you like the Chiefs, buy an extra 1.5. But Mike, I'm backing the Bengals. I'm backing the Bengals.
You can't do it. You can't switch now. Oh you're part of. Dog Nate,
I'm part of the jungle. I'm part of the jungle. I'm not backing them to win. I'm backing them to cover. I like Chiefs cover. Bengals cover. How's that half-assed?
Here's why I'm backing the Bengals. Steve Spagnuolo, those blitz packages, the house that he was bringing on some of these young quarterbacks. It ain't gonna work against Joe Burrow.
Let's go.
93.3 overall grade against the blitz this year. one of the highest in the NFL. 10.8 yards per attempt. You're not going to fool this guy. He's seen it all at this point in time, even though he's only in year 2. I mean, he is poised beyond his years. I think he's playing some damn good football. I think they're going to go blow for blow. Now, Chris Jones terrifies me against that Bengals interior offensive line. That's got nightmare written all over it.
Whoa,
and there's no
Xavier
real
Su'a-Fila's back. So
game changer.
yeah,
XFF.
Bite your tongue.
XSF.
XSF, yeah.
That there's no, and the thing about Chris Jones and like interior rushers, there's no like, let's chip him. You know, you can slide towards him, but like that also leaves you susceptible to blitzes. Almost 9 times out of 10, your slide is determined by the front you're playing. You're not basing your slide solely off of one defender. But when he does get one-on-one, if you are singling him up, it's just L every time. So that one worries me, but I still believe in Joe Burrow. Give me the Bengals.
I'm buying the shootout. I'm buying a shootout.
To win? Say that louder.
I'm saying it's a win.
Bengals to win.
I'm going.
I have to fade the Bengals. I have to. If Queen City wants to win, it has to be me fading them, right? If I back the Bengals, they're going to
No, you actually
lost.
have to believe it.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe
This
they
has
cover.
become a
I believe
bit.
they cover.
You can't do it for the bit.
No,
You have
I
to
don't.
say
I
it.
don't
You're
think
part
the
of the
Bengals
jungle
win.
now.
I'm a part of the jungle, but I don't think the Bengals win. Wink,
right.
wink, wink. I don't think the Bengals win. But I like them to cover. I like them to keep things close. Zach Taylor, you threw on 70% of early downs last week. Do it again. Do it again. Throw on this defense. You have to. I think the Bengals have a top 4 receiving core in the NFL. Top 4, maybe top 3. I think you're debating Tampa when fully healthy, Dallas, and Tennessee when fully healthy. Bengals are right in that conversation for me. T. Higgins has been awesome. Jamar Chase, obviously. Tyler Boyd in the slot. I mean, it has been a really good year for this receiving core, and that's where you have to attack this Chiefs defense. Yeah, Chris Jones is going to eat, XSF's lunch, but I think Joe Burrow reacts to pressure well. He's played better down the stretch. Throw the football, keep this game close, in a shootout with Patrick Mahomes at home in Queen City, cover the 5, but I'm not backing you to win because I can't. I'm a part of the jungle, but if they are going to win, they only win when I tell them they're going to lose. Bengals are going to lose so they can win. Does that make sense? No?
Just go to the next game.
Raiders Colts. This line has gone out to, I think it was at 6.5, 7.5 when the Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts were COVID free. Then it went down to 1.5. Raiders were only 1.5 point dogs when they thought Carson Wentz wasn't going to play. Then the NFL changed the rules on what happens with unvaccinated players. So now he's going to actually come back and play this game.
Or could come back.
But I think it's likely given the spread. If you don't think he's going to come back, you take the Raiders right now. I think it's likely he comes back.
Really, I don't think it would bother me to take the Colts still.
Really?
Even if he's not playing.
Even if freaking Eason or Ellinger is playing?
Yeah.
You would take them at 6?
Probably, yeah.
Wow, that's terrible. I think at 6, I still feel, I guess maybe I am with you. I still feel like the Colts win with Carson Wentz. With Carson Wentz, I haven't had it in a while, Quinn.
Well, it's because the Raiders themselves, Darren Waller, COVID, Casey Hayward, COVID. I think a couple other guys in this defense get COVID. They have their own COVID questions themselves. So
and that doesn't even factor in how bad they are.
Yeah, and that too.
Raiders have not played well. They barely struggled to beat Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos. Colts, I think, will be getting a lot of these guys back from the COVID reserve list. Darius Leonard, Carson Wentz, I think some of the offensive line as well. They'll be closer to full strength. I think this might be my dump truck of the week.
Oh.
I think it's my dump truck of the week. I think the Colts dump truck.
Where's your dump truck?
I don't know. It's right here. Little chomper. I don't know if this is dump truck or not, but little chomper. I think Eberflus gets in his bag. I don't think the Raiders score more than 14 points, and the Colts just roll with Jonathan Taylor and just dominate against a bad Raiders defense.
There you go. We're on the same page.
Boom. Jaguars, Patriots. How much time do we need to spend on this one? Not a lot. Patriots are favored by 15.5. And guess what? I'm holding my nose and I'm taking it. Because Bill Belichick off a loss against Darrell Bevel, this is not going to go well. Trevor Lawrence, this is not going to go well. I think Bill Belichick might scare Trevor Lawrence into retirement. This is going to be a disgusting game for the Jags. Throw the tape out already. I think Patriots win big.
I like the Patriots. This is not my hold the nose, though.
It's not your hold your nose?
The next game on this list.
Bucks Jets?
Bucks Jets is my hold the nose.
Jets 13-point dogs at home? Really?
13-point dogs at home. Zach Wilson against Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is going to give him nightmares. I mean, that's just like a recipe for a disaster for Zach Wilson. This one just, even if Bucks D not at 100%, this one still looks like nightmare fuel for Zach Wilson. Like
Who has a better game out of these rookie quarterbacks?
no.
Who has a better game? Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, or Davis Mills? Davis Mills is playing the Niners on the road as a 12-point dog.
Probably
Zach
Davis Mills.
Yeah, right? It might be Mills. It might be Mills.
Probably will be.
All right, we'll get to that game soon enough. But I feel that this line is big, especially for a home Jets team. But like you said, Todd Bowles, this Bucs team, another team coming off an L. I mean, this is going to be another dump trucking. I think you can't pick. So the rules for a dump truck is they can't be more than a touchdown favorite, because then you're just like picking. Then you're just picking like
it's obviously going to be a jump.
It's got to be an under touchdown. It's got to be an under touchdown favorite.
Close line that you think will end in a blowout.
Exactly.
That's
a dumper.
The dumper.
All right. Dolphins, Titans. This game will be good. Huge playoff implications. Dolphins desperately need to win. Titans obviously need to win. Titans are favored by 3.5. The Dolphins are on a 7-game win streak. I have heard that stat probably 1,000 times over the last few weeks. Is Miami getting shade here? They got the 3.5 point, the hook. Do you think Tua has a chance here?
I do. And not so much because of Tua, but the other side of the ball, their defense. And the defense is red hot, obviously. And I think Tua can do enough to not lose you a game. So I think they have bigger corners, Dolphins do, match up with these Titans, bigger wide receivers, to where I think it might be low scoring, but when that's the case, 3.5 points is a lot. Just give me the Dolphins.
I think I like the Dolphins to cover and win on the road against Tennessee. How healthy?
Tennessee are the anti-expectations. Expectations are too high for them in this game. 3.5, they go anti-expectations all the time.
I think they have a healthy A.J. Brown and Julio, though, don't they? That could be a reason why they are getting the 3.5 point. But on PFF.com, I was going to call this out. Doug Kyde wrote an article on the Tua Tagovailoa situation. He has sources and hearing around the league that the Dolphins still might be leaning towards moving away from Tua Tagovailoa, potentially. He has league sources expected the Dolphins to trade for Deshaun Watson. The Dolphins haven't lost like that interest necessarily even within the 7-game win streak. So there is still interest in moving on from Tua, which I thought was interesting. Do you think 7-game win streak, they win this game, can they really move on from Tua? Do you think they really move on from Tua?
I do. And I think it's because I don't know what internally is going on, but I think it's because of whatever internally is going on, because you just
too much smoke.
You can't look this dude in the eye after all the trade talks that have gone on and expect it to just be, oh, everything's good, Tua, slap, high five, you're our guy. And it's like, no, the trust has been broken, and I don't think it ever gets completely rebuilt.
Eagles football team, before we get to that, proud sponsor of the Tailgate Podcast is DraftKings. The NFL season is winding down. The playoffs will be here before you know it. And at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, the offers are getting even more amazing. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game. And if they do, you win $200 in free bets. Don't miss out on this action. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still be a part of the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contests. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF, bet just $5 on any NFL team, and win $200 in free bets if they are victorious. That's promo code PFF with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Ready? Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Speed Demon. AG. Eagles football team. I'm excited for this game because I think this one was also in contention for a dump trucking. I like Eagles. Eagles are favored by 3. The line has been bouncing between 3 and 4 in favor of the Eagles. I'm out on Taylor Heineke. I'm in on Jalen Hurts.
The whole world knows you're out on Taylor Heineke.
I'm in on Jalen Hurts on a 3-game winning streak right now, and the brand of football they're playing, no one's ready for.
So you're saying he's the quarterback of the future?
I'm not having that conversation. I hate that you keep bringing this up. I hate talking about, is Jalen Hurts the quarterback of the future in Philly? Let's just play it game by game. Let's play it season by season. Jalen Hurts has played well this year. He's a top 12 graded quarterback according to PFF, and I think he goes into this game and pulls off another win, and they win by more than 3.
Yes, I do as well. I really am kind of floored by this line. I get the Eagles are on the road.
Well, Heineke's fun to watch, so it kind of factors in.
But it's kind of, you have two teams where one has a lot riding on this game. Eagles win, likely in the playoffs. And Washington season kind of just ended the past few weeks. Like they're out of it. There's no getting themselves back into contention. So just from a motivational standpoint, very mismatched energy levels coming into this.
Next game on the schedule here is Broncos Chargers. Greenline sees a lot of value on Denver, but I just can't. I know the Chargers just lost bad to the Texans, and that was gross. But like, should the Chargers not beat the Broncos by more than 6.5? That's what they're favored by at home, with the legitimate opportunity to make the postseason at 8-7.
Yeah, I like the Chargers here for kind of what I just said about last week. Like, I think the Broncos have a very outside shot of still making the playoffs, but like that was it. The last 2 losses ended your season, sadly. So the Chargers, on the other hand, 2 straight losses, need a big bounce back. So again, from a motivational standpoint, at home, this is it. All the chips you got some trick plays in the book. You got some shit in your back pocket you haven't used, and your Brand Staley, you're throwing it all out there this week. So 6.5, give me the Chargers.
I'm going to back Greenline here. I'm a company man. I've always said that. Greenline sees a 2% edge on Denver at 6.5. I like Denver. I like that edge. I'm betting it. I'm backing the product. PFF Elite. Use promo code PFF. No, use promo code Elite Up for 50% off your Elite subscription if you want to get one. And know that it comes with the Broncos plus 6.5 pick. And I'm backing them. I'm backing 6.5 on the road. Texans, 49ers. Davis Mills deserves more respect. Does he not? Does he not? 12 points. You're buying Texans at the top of the market, coming out for a big win for Cully in the era that is the Cully era. I like Texans plus 12.
Cully in the era. I like the 49ers here. I get that the Texans just had themselves a game, and it was nice. Big dub over the Chargers. But we talked about how the Chargers were just completely bereft defensively. No one left that can make an impact on the game. Going to be a little bit different this week. So 12 points, I think they turn back into the Texans.
I disagree. Davis Mills, I believe. All right, this line.
The weird Jimmy G stuff, the broken thumb is odd to me, to whatever's going on there with him.
That's another factor, right? Like Jimmy G might not play in this game.
Yeah. You think he broke his thumb smashing his phone after he saw John Lynch like that tweet?
Yeah, that could have been it. John Lynch liked that tweet on Christmas Eve, smashed his phone.
Punched the ground. Yeah.
But he knows, right? He knows that he could get Bledsoe'd here. Like he's like, if Lance comes in and shows any fire, he could take over.
Some quarterbacks set records with broken fingers. Just saying.
Wow. It was a pinky. Thumb's different. Ask your Cardinals Cowboys. This line has been interesting. A lot of money backing Dallas. This line opened at 2.5. It's now out to Dallas favored by 2.5 at home. Dallas is now favored by 5.5. 3 points in that direction. They get past the 3 and then some. It could get out more, right? It could get out to 7 at this point if it's trending that way. DeAndre Hopkins is not going to play in this game. Seth, I read a piece that comes out tomorrow on his impact, how he feels the DeAndre Hopkins injury has impacted the Cardinals, and so much of their winning was with Hopkins and some of the unsustainability of Kyler Murray outside of structure, and they just haven't had that. With Hopkins out and Kyler Murray injured and things like that, it just hasn't looked the same. And I don't think that turns up this week. I like Dallas minus 5.5.
I like Dallas minus 5.5 too. And we talked about how their defensive turnarounds for real. I very much believe it. And the scary thing for me, if I'm the Cardinals in this game, is Micah Parsons. I mean, Micah Parsons tracks quarterbacks. I don't care who you are. He is more athletic than Kyler Murray, despite being 40 pounds heavier than him. Like, he will track him down outside the pocket when he comes.
You think
he's
more athletic than Kyler Murray?
Yes.
Wow.
That guy's a monster. Absolute animal. Has turned this defense around. So even if that inside structure play is not there, there's not going to be outside structure shit available. So give me the boys.
There are 2 bad football teams playing, and still one of them is favored by 7 points.
Well, you know why?
Why?
The return of the Sam Darnold should be starting this week.
But Darnold versus Book, are you backing Book as a 7-point favorite?
Well, is Taysom back?
No, I think Book is supposed to play, isn't he?
Not that that's a massive, massive gap.
It is.
But 7 points, the Saints have really been, ever since Jameis Winston went out. They have treated it like Jameis Winston never went out. They've been treating these guys. They've been taking basically Sean Payton at face value with how much he fucking hypes up these quarterbacks. With Sean Payton calling him, the next Steve Young, Vegas is like buying into that with all these lines because they've been getting some of the outside of the Bucs game, they haven't done anything to inspire confidence they can cover any of these. So yeah, give me the Panthers because this one's, like I said, bad quarterbacks getting 7 points is going to be rough.
I need to figure out who is starting for the Saints. If it's Ian Book, I am backing the Panthers. I'm not backing an injured, even if it's not. Like I'm not backing an injured Taysom, an injured Trevor Siemian, or Ian Book by 7-point favorites. I don't care. Like I think Darnold can cover. I think Darnold can make it happen. I believe Lions at Seahawks. 2 bad teams and a bad football team getting 7. Seahawks favored by 7. Give me Dan Campbell. Feed me Dan Campbell. Russell Wilson's not ready for this defense, even at home. I think Detroit goes in and covers this 7 as well.
Yeah, same thing we said last week with Seahawks. Seahawks just aren't good enough to inspire confidence in covering 7-point lines at this point in time. They just lost to the Bears. I will also take the Lions, even though, that one's going to be tough to watch.
I don't know if I don't know. I think now I'm kind of back. I'm wavering. Seahawks by 7 over Detroit. It is at home. That just shows how bad the Seattle Seahawks are.
Sounds like you don't believe in Dan Campbell.
I believe in Dan Campbell, but like that just goes
cover machine. Dan Campbell. If the
Seahawks were on the road, would the Lions only be like 4-point dogs? That's crazy. The Seattle Seahawks in the tank. I guess give me Dan Campbell. Vikings at Packers. Packers favored by 6.5. Are you all in on Packer Nation?
I want to emotionally hedge, but I'm not going to. Dump truck season.
This is your dump truck?
Packers come out with the 1 seed hanging in the balance. If the Cowboys lose, they could secure it.
Is this the Mike Renner dump truck?
The dump trucking. This is it.
Are we creating a new bit where each of us gets a dump truck of the week?
Apparently.
Quinn, we need a dump truck. We need
the sound like that annoying, like backing up.
Tonka. Yeah, I hate the beep beep. It needs to be like a Tonka, like choo choo.
So what was your pick again, Austin? We should keep track with a graphic.
Yeah, we do need to. My pick was Colts Raiders. Colts with the dump truck. All right, Packers dump truck, Colts dump truck. I think Vikings cover. I'm going to counter your dump. I like Vikings to cover the 6.5 even on the road. I like the Vikings a lot. I think the Vikings are one of the best bad football teams in the NFL. Browns at Steelers to close us out.
These dumps.
I think Steelers win this game. At home, Baker Mayfield reeling. It's a letdown spot for Cleveland. They're favored by 3 on the road in Heinz. I think Pittsburgh finds a way. I think this Browns team's down bad right now. They know they're not making the playoffs. They know, I know that's in their destiny. The Bengals beat the Chiefs, whatever. There's opportunities. But I think they're down and out right now. Myles Garrett's playing hurt. Baker Mayfield's playing hurt. Receiving core is trash. Steelers, money line. Give it to me.
Yeah, for as bad as Ben Roethlisberger has looked, I think Baker Mayfield's looked worse over the past 5 weeks.
Don't put that on a graphic. Don't. Social team.
Give me Pittsburgh.
Social team, please.
You guys are also forgetting kind of a key storyline. Probably Big Ben's last game ever at Heinz Field.
Wow.
He ain't losing that. I don't like the Steelers. I don't like Big Ben, but Big Ben's not going to lose his last game ever.
That's a great take, actually, Quinn.
Yeah.
Does Mason Rudolph get any run?
I hope not.
You have to.
No,
because it's such a dump trucking. They Rudolph and Garrett gets another swing of the helmet at him. No. That's the revenge game we need to see.
The revenge game. No, we need to see. I want to see Ben Roethlisberger play well. Actually, that'd be one last hurrah.
One last ride.
Like the Vikings game and down the stretch where he played awesome. Like just have one game like that. Let us remember the good times, Ben, because this year was not it.
Do you think Baker Mayfield throws 4 picks or 5?
Just 2.
Just 2 picks in this game.
Cheeky 2.
Mailbag, then trivia.
Sure. Let's get to the user.
Let's start with the users. Okay. Before we get to the users, because the user mailbag is going to be sick, I got one more sponsor, and then we're sponsor free for the rest of the show. Western and Southern. Want a chance to win the ultimate game day feast, whether it's football success or financial savvy? Winning starts with us, asking us questions. Would you like to know what it's like behind the scenes with Al on Sunday night? How about a need to know for your financial future? Western Southern is teaming up with PFF's very own Chris Collinsworth. Very own Chris Collinsworth. I don't know what just happened. Very own Chris Collinsworth. To share insights that can help put you ahead on both your fantasy and financial scoreboards, every submission earns you a chance to win the ultimate piece to celebrate football's favorite Sunday. We'll cover your catering up to $2,500, coordinate your order from a restaurant near you, and have it delivered on February 13th, 2022. And don't forget to check out the Chris Collinsworth podcast and Western Southern's Instagram for answers to the best questions each week. Submit your questions at westernsouthern.com/askchris. One more time, that is westernsouthern.com/askchris. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. Remember, with Western and Southern, you can rest assured on game day. Speakpipe.com/tailgate. Speakpipe.com/tailgate. You can leave voicemails like these. We got 4. One from Neil, one from Omar, one from Keyline Fred, and one from Evan Zinger. An absolute cast of characters here on the mailbag episode. Surprise us, Quinn. We have not listened to these. We do not know what they are. They are surprising. You picked these, hand-selected these from the hundreds of thousands that we received. You go ahead and kick us off, Quinn.
So I'm just cold call. Like there's no,
Cold.
You're not
Cold.
All right. Give me 1 second. We'll see how this goes. It's the first time we've ever done it, by the way.
I'm excited.
So
I'm excited. Remember,
bear with
go
us.
if you want to be on this part of the show, speakpipe.com/tailgate.
Do you believe there's a real possibility that the Panthers trade up to number 1 or maybe number 2 to grab Kenny Pickett? I mean, David Tepper, who's somewhat of a meddler, has been really, really aggressive with these quarterback trades, being in the mix for Matthew Stafford and Deshaun Watson. And he's from the University of Pittsburgh, and I do think Matt Rule has been telling him that he's just a quarterback away from being competitive. So I believe that's a possibility. What about you guys?
That was from Omar Roldan. Thanks for listening to the show and going to speakpipe.com/tailgate to answer. Do you think Panthers trade up for Kenny Pickett?
Ooh, okay. So I haven't actually heard these prior to this, so this is going to be fun. But honestly, it depends on where they end up. I think there's a world where they end up behind only Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston, and the Jets-Giants. At that point, I don't think any of those teams are drafting a quarterback. So you wouldn't have to necessarily trade up. You would get jumped. Like you would only trade up if you worry about getting jumped. And I'm not so certain that's going to happen in this class. So I don't think they would need to move if they do really want to draft a quarterback in this year.
I don't think this is going to be a big overall, right? I don't think this is going to be a big trade up to go get your guy at quarterback class because of just the overall viewpoint of the class so far. Like there's a lot of guys that people would take in the 10 to 20 range, but maybe not guys they would trade up into the top 10 for. If the Panthers like a quarterback, even if it's Kenny Pickett and they want the first quarterback off the board, they'll be in a prime position to be that team first to take a quarterback off the board. Thanks again for the question. Quinn, who is next?
Hey guys, love the pod. My question is about Daniel Jones. I know that you guys don't believe that he's been a good quarterback, and I don't disagree with you. I agree that he has not been a top 10 or even close to top 15 QB. However, since the Giants are keeping Daniel Jones, is there any good things that you can say about him heading into year 4? Please talk more with the PFF special stats like big time throw rate, turnover worthy throw rate, because I know that in the past Austin has talked about Daniel Jones and brought up him leading the league in turnovers over his 3-year career so far. And I think that that's a little misleading because I know his first year was absolutely awful. It got slightly better in his second and third year, but he did get kind of screwed by Evan Engram dropping the ball a lot and also bad luck. I think year 2 and 3, he massively improved. So how does Daniel Jones's PFF stats, like clean pocket grade, big time throw grade, turnover worthy play, how has that changed in year 2 and year 3? And could we potentially expect a rare year 4 breakout, or am I just going to have to jump off the roof?
Well, don't jump off the roof.
Exactly.
I would probably recommend
from,
against that.
by the way, Neil. That was from Neil. He goes to Straymond High School. Neil, we are on to the PFF special stats. You go ahead and kick us off. I got some data.
I do think the biggest, if there's like any reason for excitement, or like the biggest thing that Daniel Jones does well, avoid sacks, even despite there being, they've probably a bottom 3 pass block line over his 3 years there, and he has still converted pressures to sacks at a fairly low rate this year, only 15.7% of the time. If you look at other guys, like Justin Fields is twice that. That's a good thing to do for a quarterback to avoid sacks. Now, when he gets sacked, he often fumbles. And the fumbles, the turnover-worthy plays, those have kind of been a consistent theme with him over the course of his career as well, sadly. So stats to really hang your hat on for Daniel Jones, that's about it, sadly.
So over the past 3 years, he ranks 22nd in PFF grade among all quarterbacks in those 3 year spans, all starters, really. He also ranks, I think, 19th in big-time throw rate. Or no, 21st in big-time throw rate. But the real problem is he's turnover-worthy plays, right? And he spoke to a little bit of that. It's like he's turned over the ball on 4% of his dropbacks, which is the third. Only Sam Darnold has a higher rate than that over the last 3 years. Like he has nonstop turn over the ball. And then even if you go into, you talk about he's improved. Yeah, he's improved into second and third seasons. Even if you go to this year, right? Like this year has not been good to Daniel Jones either. He still ranks in the bottom 5 in turnover-worthy play rate. He ranks in the bottom 10 in PFF grade. Like there is not a lot of reason to feel good about how Daniel Jones has played this year either, right? So this year, just a 70.2 PFF grade, turnover-worthy play rate at 3%. Big-time throw rate though, like getting the big plays, worse than the NFL. 2% big-time throw rate. That's awful. Worse than Jared Goff, worse than Zach Wilson. I don't think the leash should be as long as it's been for Daniel Jones. And the fact that they are committing to him in 2022 is a little bit of a disaster. Now, Neil, do not jump off the roof. You will be better. Hope for, a flyer on a quarterback on day 2 and a good competition in camp. And you never have to watch Mike Glennon play football again.
I was going to say, you could be a Raiders fan. It could be worse.
What the hell? Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. All right, next one, Quinn.
Hey, fellas, first time, long time. Name's Dave. So my question is actually dictated towards the Friday night game, Georgia versus Michigan, college football playoff. What exactly does Michigan need to do to win that game? And also, a follow-up to that question is just, can you guys hit on the 2021 season for the Michigan Wolverines, the boys in blue in general? This was a team that wasn't ranked preseason top 25 in the AP poll. Coach Harbaugh becomes Coach of the Year. Can you just hit on what Coach Harbaugh has built in Ann Arbor, how special 2021 has been, and just how incredible this story has been in college football this year? Thanks a lot.
That's our guy. Dave. That's producer Dave.
He snuck that one in.
That was incredible.
That was last minute.
Producer Dave, obviously a big Michigan guy. He's been on with us all the trips. He gets on the pod. His voice, I think that's the first time his voice has been on the show. Mike, speak to this.
No, I'll allow you to take this one.
Okay.
I have no interest.
John Harbaugh has exceeded expectations this year. Expectations he set himself, right? Mike Renner, you talked about that. Like why he didn't win Coach of the Year over Luke Fickell. It's because a lot of the preseason expectations not being a top 25 team. Like, buddy, you were the coach of that team, right? Like 2020 was a disastrous year for Michigan. There weren't a lot of reasons to feel high about them entering the season. Now, he's wildly exceeded expectations. He beat Ohio State for the first time in his tenure at home in like a dump truck, right? A dump trucking of Ohio State as like 20-point dogs in that game. John Harbaugh rises up. Michigan, what they need to do to win is Caden McNamara and JJ McCarthy need to show up, right? Like they go into this game and like, we're going to run this on Haskins. We're going to play behind our Joe Moore offensive line. We're going to beat this like vaunted Georgia run defense. No, like don't go blow for blow with Jordan Davis and what they're good at. I think they need to lean on Caden McNamara, lean on the freshman JJ McCarthy to get the ball downfield through the air and attack what is a very good Georgia defense that doesn't admittedly have a lot of weaknesses, where there are some, the lesser of two evils. They're obviously their secondary. So I think Cade McNamara shows up. But Dave, big shout out to Dave, who's obviously been a longtime listener, a longtime producer on the show. Dave getting on the pod. We have a couple more here, right? Right, Dave? Or right, Quinn?
Jesus.
Yeah, hi, this is Key Lime Fred, and I want to talk about my tits. Mike Vrabel should be Coach of the Year for leading my tits to the number 2 seed, potentially the number 1 seed if the Chiefs lose this weekend, while having the most injuries in the NFL. Let's just talk only offensive injuries. We know about Derrick Henry. A.J. Brown's played 50% of snaps this year. Julio's played 30% of snaps this year. Lawan's been out. Nate Davis has been out. Roger Saffold's been out. We don't even have a fucking tight end anyways. Not only have those starters been out, but our number 3 receiver, Marcus Johnson, gone for the year. Cam Batson, gone for the year. We've been trotting out Racey McMath as a meaningful receiver. And people wonder how we lost to the Texans. Racey McMath. All of that. And we're still the number 2 seed, potentially the number 1 seed. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year. You tell me why he shouldn't get it, you son of a bitch.
Keyline Fred might be a new friend of the show.
Game with
Yeah,
it.
that was A+.
That was A+. That's how you need to do, that's how you get on the show.
That should be the bar.
That's the bar. Keyline
Like,
Fred is the
that's
best one.
if you're gonna call in, like that's what you should like strive to do.
I'll say he would be number 2 on my list. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year.
Really?
Matt
Number 2
LaFleur.
on your list.
Matt LaFleur, Mike Vrabel.
What if he gets the 1 seed?
If they get the 1 seed, we could talk. I still think the Packers get the 1 seed in the NFC and go 14-3. They were, I mean, they lost a lot of key players.
They've battled
David
injuries.
Bakhtiari, Jair Alexander, Zadarius Smith. You can argue those are 3 of their top 5 players on that roster that they haven't had since week 3, Bakhtiari's season. So to go 12-3 to still be the 1 seed, that would be my pick, number 1. But
I think those are some of my favorites. Like if you are going to do the speak pipe thing on the mailbag episode, come in and send us a pitch, right? Like, we always read those mailbag questions where like, we've been doing this and this and this. Come here and show us who you got. I like that one. That was cool. You're not going to comment on the fact that he called them my tits?
that's just with the tight ones. Got a lot of names for the Titans.
I've never heard that before. You've heard that before?
Yeah.
All right. Last one of the show, Evan Zinger.
Yep, last one. Hold on.
So, Miss Kylie Hamilton, what makes you think you should be part of this new season of The Bachelor with Michael Renner?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God! So he was so hot when he was on The Bachelorette. Like his long hair, absolutely lovely, but his short hair, I really don't like a guy who has like really dark hair and glasses and like a mustache. So Mike is like absolutely perfect.
Did we not?
I love tailgate at Packers games. And he went to Notre Dame, and I'm like 12% Irish, and I like to fight people who make fun of like math stuff and analytics. So that's just like awesome. And by the way, even if I don't make it, can you pass along my social media to him at least? Because, you know, I like to think I'm hashtag fun to watch. Okay, bye.
Could I vet these before we put them on air?
That's it. No, we made the deal that this is you guys don't listen to these. It's just it's off the cuff.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah, no question.
I don't know
That
what
was
the
just
hell that was. That was phenomenal.
Don't really have an answer for that.
My
but I
favorite
don't
was
think
still
she's getting
Keyline
on the
Fred.
I don't think she's getting on the next season.
She didn't sound cute.
Yeah.
I can't believe I caught a stray at that. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah, I'm not into these types, these fucking gremlin types. That was great. Evan Zinger, Keyline Fred, Neil, and Omar, and then obviously Michigan Dave, our guy. Thanks for dropping in those questions. Shall we get to the written mailbag?
Yes, let's get to the mailbag.
All right. Brock G32 on Apple. Wide receivers, offensive tackles, cornerbacks for the Colts on day 2. Simple, to the point, cut and dry. Tell me what I fucking get.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think this is one from last week that I forgot to address. So I think they could use like a speedier, deep threadier wide receiver.
Deep threadier works.
Jalen Tolbert, South Alabama wide receivers guy I'd look at on D2. Offensive tackle. I think they're in prime position. They probably would like to have Eric Fisher back the way he's played second half of this year. But I think you either pray for the Central Michigan tackle Bernard Raymond to still be there, or a guy like Kellen Diesch, the Arizona State offensive tackle who'll be at the Shrine Bowl. I'm a fan of him, maybe on 3rd round, 4th round. Athletic guy, still needs to get stronger, but that's like a developmental guy you can work for in the future. Then at cornerback, they love feisty athletes. Kyler Gordon, Washington corner. We've talked about him. I think Trent McDuffie's called the most athletic guy he's ever played with that would fit in for Indy.
On to Big Blue Drew on Apple. Love the pod. Been here since the beginning with 2 picks in the top 10. Many mocks have the Giants taking offensive line and edge. If Thibodeau and Hutchinson are gone, is there an edge worth the selection? I hear Karlaftis, but I'm not sure if he fits Patrick Graham's 3-4 defense since he's bigger, more versatile edge setter. If anything, he'll play inside, but that's not as valuable. Thoughts on his fit in New York and the alternative options? Hopefully Trader Dave will move back if it isn't slam dunk. I don't think Dave's going to be there, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's like we're making a lot of assumptions about who is all going to be with New York next year and beyond, I'll just say. So if you are you're a new GM that gets hired, and say you are stuck with Joe Judge, I'm not sure you're taking Joe Judge's hefty input about the role this guy's going to play in your defense, because it's like that defense could fucking change in 2023. So I think you're still quote unquote trusting the board, going after the best player you think. Karlaftis, I don't think he's a great necessarily stand up edge. He's not going to be the guy that drops into coverage, but I do think he could play like even like a 3-4 defensive end. So he could be your interior guy. It's more of a true edge for what they run. David Ojabo would obviously be a better fit than Michigan guy, but top 6, top 7, likely where they'll be drafting. A little rich for him, for me.
A little rich. I think that they can be a prime trade down spot.
Yeah.
Because they have to get so much cheaper. The Giants' cap is disastrous, and they don't have like a lot. Like they're not like a piece away. I think they could be a prime trade down spot. The issue is, and I think we're going to be talking about this all draft season, is who the fuck is trading up in this class? Like, who wants to trade up if there's not a quarterback that people want? I don't think there's a lot of, maybe offensive tackle, right? Maybe someone's chasing Neal at the top, who's a blue chip, like premium position, but we'll see. This is Fake If on Apple. Seeing a lot of anti-Cincy sentiment. If you could relocate PFF anywhere, factoring in weather, vibes, cost of living, where would it be? This is a good question because cost of living is important.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it was just weather and vibes, it's San Diego. But weather, vibes, and cost of living, that PFF is paying us nothing, could be tough. It could be tough to make a San Diego
for free. I think I would go with Austin, Texas. Either Austin, Texas, or Nashville. Now, Austin's obviously maybe a little bit better climate.
Cost of weather, though. I mean, cost of weather. Cost of living in Austin's kind of fucked right now.
Yeah, that is the only problem.
It's also a very basic bitch move too.
State
like
taxes are
tech company moving to Austin.
You're kind of a loser for that.
Who thought of that?
I like Austin, Texas though. Austin, Texas is a great ass time. That's why. Where are you going?
I don't know. I want to get close to the West Coast. Cost of living is tough in San Diego. I might consider the Bay, but the Bay is also expensive. But there are areas of the Bay that are not as expensive. Like the Bay isn't just San Francisco. People like there's the Bay areas can be Oakland, Berkeley. There's other parts of the Bay that I think would be cool. I also wouldn't hate Seattle. I think I would commit to the Bay though. Find a cheap area in the Bay and make some plays in Cali. I'm not going to Cali.
I'd hate the Bay.
No, you would not.
I would not move. If we move,
you would move.
I would look for a new job.
All right, this is Josh Skaggs. I kind of like that name. Josh Skaggs on Apple. Hey guys, I'd like to hear your guys' all prison team, not including my dad. Any player who currently is in prison and has been in prison, or any player who thinks you'd be in prison, interpret that how you want.
This one got a little dark.
My dad can be the coach. Can my dad be the coach?
Dad can coach this team. This one got a little dark, and honestly, I couldn't fill out a full roster. I did a lot of research on it. I looked up a lot of stuff and struggled to fill out a full roster. But
limit the jokes here, right? There's a lot of these guys suck. Like a lot of people on this list.
But your skill position players are pretty legit. You can build, Mike Vick, OJ Simpson, Dante Stallworth, Henry Ruggs, Plaxico Burress, Aaron Hernandez. It's a tough, Stallworth running like a 4-3 also with Ruggs. It's a tough offense to stop. Some offensive linemen I've found: Craig Robinson, Nate Newton, Barrett Robbins.
Greg Robinson was the guy who had all that weed on him?
The one across the border.
Is he still in prison?
Nate Newton also had a bunch of weed on him. Barrett Robbins was the guy who missed the Super Bowl for the Raiders. Defensively, Ray Lewis is your captain. You got. Yeah, I think that's all we're gonna go through there. There's some other guys that we could get to, some guys that I've got, but the one thing that stood out to me was how many NFL players have actually either incidentally or intentionally killed people in the past. There was a lot. That was kind of good in doing research for that. So there you go. Not our best question, but it was an Apple review, so we're going to answer all your Apple reviews, and there you go. There you have it.
I'm trying to find the Greg Robinson charge. He was caught with 157 pounds of
tried
weed.
to drive it across the border, but it wasn't he tried to. He took a wrong turn and accidentally
dipped into Mexico. Yeah, that's right.
Accidentally,
because he was just driving along the border.
Patrol. Yeah.
Then he's like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And he was facing up to 20 years in prison. I don't know where he's at now. I can't find anything.
Who is the Bears receiver that did that? Because there was a Bears receiver that got caught with a ton of weed too. Andrew Simpson.
He was actually running a drug trafficking ring.
Yeah, Sam Hurd. Yeah, that's it.
And he actually was just a kingpin. The guy was living like Scarface for a while before he got caught.
Oh my gosh, I'm reading more into this. So Quan Bray was with him, his former teammate, and the CFL signed Quan Bray shortly after the arrest, but like still hadn't played the 2019 season even after he got. Oh man, he's back. I don't know what just. Someone tell me what happened to Greg Robinson because it just doesn't make any sense. All right, this is from Vikings John on Spotify. You can do things on Spotify. So if you leave a review on Spotify, he sent me this DM.
Yeah.
My favorite pod. Thanks for the content. Mike, can you use your connections to get your boy Austin a spot in the Bachelorette? Can you start with that one?
Why do you think I signed the habit contract? Trying to get him into shape, trying to whip him into shape here, trying to get him into a fighting weight to get on the show. But I'm, not a miracle worker. He's got to do some of it himself.
It's true. Number 2, teams like Green Bay, New England, New Orleans, and Philly consistently find and develop offensive linemen. What percentage of credit goes to the GM, scouting, and coaching? Green Bay and Philly continue to find quality starters despite regime changes.
So I think also if you look at those teams, for the most part, they invest continually, whether they have offensive linemen or whether they do not. Like the Eagles, since 2016, when they had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL with Jason Peters, with Lane Johnson, with Jason Kelsey, with, I think they signed the next year, Brandon Brooks. Like they have those guys on that roster. They've drafted 8 offensive linemen since then. They've drafted 8 offensive linemen with that being your starting point. That's the same amount as the Miami Dolphins have drafted over that span and had effing nobody on their offensive line. So it comes down to investment at the end of the day. And investment's not just first round picks. Investment is just, like I said, continually throwing stuff at that offensive line. And with the Eagles, they even used a first round pick on a backup tackle. So that's a lot of it.
That's a good point.
Consistently investing, making it a priority, and making it a priority when it's not like a need, a glaring need, when it's making a priority before it's a need. So they do that. But then there's also, I'd say over 50% of the credit does go to development. You need a good offensive line coach in the NFL to win, to consistently win, to consistently have good offensive lines. There's only so much you can do via just finding talent alone. So I'd say, like I said, just probably 60% offensive line coach, and then the other 40% is actually talent identification, which is still a massive part of it.
I like that answer. The investment piece is good. Jaron Brent Bentiman on Apple. I will preface this by saying I truly don't mean for this question to be a downer. We already had the all prison question. I love the pod and have it bookmarked in my head as the most fun podcast I listen to. That is why I would so appreciate hearing your answer. I'm not ready for the next turn of this. It's rough. Is it rough emotionally to do this job? It seems like a lot of fun to work in sports for a living, but this sport in particular is very brutal. A great number of athletes have pretty tortured post-career lives. My work puts me in contact with a lot of injured people, and it rips my heart out when I see a young person whose injury removes the upside from their futures. I ask you guys this because you cover the athlete's transition to adulthood. Basically, I can only imagine learning about everything from a prospect as Mike does, holding some optimism for his future career, and see injuries ruin his life. You both seem very conscientious, and I bet anything your answers will be good ones. Thanks, Kings. Wow, Jaron, getting deep. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, I do think as an outsider and someone who myself went through kind of, growing up, I thought of myself as an athlete, and you go through high school and college, and then all of a sudden you're not an athlete anymore. You're a real person. I do think that identity aspect is something that when you see guys struggling with that, and I think that's the more heartbreaking thing, is not the loss of talent when guys don't fulfill their potential. It's them being so wrapped up in that's all they are, that they have nothing after football. Those are the stories that get me. But I think you almost become desensitized to the fact that it's just a fact of the NFL too, that a lot of guys with this promise and with this hype. And it's also a fact of college football too, where it's you get 5-star prospects who do nothing in college all the time too. That you almost at this point just kind of expect it, and it's.
I think the business end of the NFL can get me, right? How cutthroat it is, and I think you've had players talk about that, where it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are a dollar figure, and at the end of the day, that's how they look at NFL talent. They look at it as this person's $3 million on the cap, this person's this much and whatever. And I think when you get wrapped up in the strategy on how to win football games, it's become more businessy than I think people wanted it to, right? I think it's become well, if you're going to draft them, you can't draft running back in the first round, but You talk about that stuff, right? It's like, hey, if we don't draft a running back in the first round, he makes so much less money. And like so much has become financial. I do think that the business end does get overlooked. And we try to talk about that sometimes here. I think I had someone reach out to me who listens to the show. It's like that they said they appreciate that we talk about some of that stuff. But the business end is cutthroat, dude. Like the bottom line is the NFL, the people at the top of the NFL just want to make a shitload more money, regardless of what happens. That includes, moving on from players quickly, not drafting certain players, not paying certain players the amount of money. And like, that obviously stinks sometimes, man. Like non-injury guarantees and shit like that is just brutal.
Well, it's kind of the fact of life in a salary capped market that you have to be the best, you have to extract value over cash dollars more than everyone else does, because everyone's working with the same cash dollars. So it's
a capped market.
You literally have to, and that's why like it's kind of brings this sort of sickening, I don't want to say sickening, but like this odd dichotomy for fans where it's like you're fans of players, but you don't want them to be paid that much because then that makes your football team better.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Like
it gives you more potential. And it's like a weird sort of, like I said, just situation that a salary cap creates.
You see some of the discourse on like Frank Clark. It's like, oh my God, we're paying that fucking bum $22 million a year. Like, Frank Clark seeing that and like that, like, but that's what it's been built. Like that's
makes him wanna
it's like
get a gun.
Yeah, there's a stop. There's a lot.
He did.
Stop.
All prison team. There's your edge.
You guys suck.
You walked right into that.
I didn't
That's
walk
your
into
fault.
that. I was trying to be sentimental. Regardless, let's get to trivia.
Yes.
All right. Bear with me 1 sec. Let me pull this up.
Did I tell you guys Perk Angels DM'd me?
What did he say?
What did he say?
He asked for a hat, and I gave him a hat.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
well deserved.
That's a perfect segue because his question.
Let's go.
Right off the bat. He says, "Rest in peace, John Madden."
Love
Since the
that.
Madden game started featuring players on the cover in 2001, we're the only 3 defensive players to be on the cover of the game.
Richard Sherman, Troy Polamalu.
Richard Sherman really made that one about himself with that tweet.
That was rough. Troy Polamalu was on the cover with Larry Fitzgerald in that first combo cover. Did he include that?
Yes.
And then I think was JJ Watt not on it?
Negative. He was not.
JJ Watt's never been on the cover? That's crazy.
No.
Man.
I had been a linebacker. Luke Kuechly?
No.
Ray Lewis.
Yep.
Nice.
All prison team starting middle linebacker.
Captain.
This one is also a listener submitted question. It's Brandon Ryblick on Twitter. On episode 251, we learned Iowa State and Indiana are the only 2 Power 5 schools who have not had a first-round pick since 2000. Who are their highest drafted players this century? Hint, both are since 2010.
Iowa State and Indiana. Trayvon Mullen. No, Trayvon Mullen plays for Indiana now. Trayvon Mullen played for Clemson. I'm stupid.
That was a bad start to that.
T-Gray Scales, I think, was a 7th rounder, but I don't think he's their highest graded guy.
Not T-Gray Scales. No, not highest graded, highest drafted.
Or highest drafted, yeah. I don't think he's their highest drafted either.
Man.
I'll focus on Indiana. You take Iowa State.
Okay, Iowa State. I'm focusing on Iowa State. I know Hakeem Butler was a 4th rounder, but that seems too low. David Montgomery was a 3rd rounder. That's possible. Any offensive linemen, linebackers, tight ends. I'm going to go with David Montgomery. Is that the highest one?
Negative. Not David Montgomery.
Jordan Howard for Indiana?
He was like a 5th.
Was he really?
Yeah.
It's not Jordan Howard.
Fuck. Who was it? I don't know.
Wait, let me think of Indiana. now. They had to have. They had a wide receiver, right? Who's the one who went?
Not a wide receiver.
Oh, it's not a wide receiver.
Mm-mm.
They had someone drafted by the Broncos though.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know who that
He
is.
wasn't even good.
Just tell us, Quinn.
All right, who was Indiana?
Iowa State. Raiders legend Kelechi Osemele.
I didn't know he went to
60th
Iowa State. Wow.
In 2012. And then Indiana. This one's almost a little bit of a trick question because he went 33rd overall.
What position?
Roger Saffold.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Both guards.
Both guards. Those are tough. That's tough.
That was
guard colleges. I do not know well. I feel like that's what, if I had to rank positions I know the colleges for, I think guard is probably pretty fucking low.
That was a good question from Brandon.
Cody Latimer. That was the Indiana wide receiver.
Yeah, you're right. Good call. Good pull.
All right, last one. Oh shit! Yeah, these are all listeners submitted.
Let's go.
2 weeks in a row. King Jamie on Twitter.
Let's go.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, Alabama tied a record with 6 first-round picks. What school did they tie with? Bonus for the year in the players.
03 Miami.
School's right. Year's wrong. Well, It was 04. It was
03,
the
04.
2004 draft, but
Okay.
it would have been the 03 Miami team. So yeah, I guess that counts.
Jonathan Vilma,
Yep.
Vince Wilfork,
Yep.
Chris Rumpf,
No.
Chris Rumpf?
Chris Rumpf
No.
went to Duke.
something Rumpf.
Was it Greg Olson on that team?
No, Kellen Winslow.
No Sean Moreno?
Yeah, it's
no,
Kellen
Sean Moreno.
Winslow. Kellen Winslow's one.
Willis McGahee?
No, not Willis McGahee. Also, I don't think he went because isn't that the year he blew out his knees?
Oh, you're right.
So he didn't get drafted high.
I was 7 at this time.
Wilfork, Vilma, the Williams, DJ Williams.
Yeah, DJ Williams.
Ed Reed?
Negative, not Ed Reed. I think he was before that.
Wasn't Rumpf. Who was there? Was like a DB or all right, who else? Was it Andre Johnson?
No, there is a DB though that I don't think you guys have named yet.
I don't know. I'm out.
I should know.
Good listener questions, though.
Man, so I'm at 4. Is it?
One of them's easy. I think you're thinking a little too hard.
Jimmy Graham?
No, not Jimmy Graham.
What positions are we missing here? Oh,
DB.
Brian
and-
McKinney. Was he there?
No, Bryant McKinney's not a
right.
DB.
What was DB? Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor. There you go.
Nice.
And then what was the last position?
Yeah. Keep guessing. I'll look it up for you.
I have no idea.
I'll know it. I got
You
this.
don't know it.
I know this.
You're trash.
Vilma, DJ Williams, Vince Wilfork, Sean Taylor, Kellen Winslow. Come on.
Tell us, Quinn.
All right, who is it?
Vernon Carey.
Vernon Carey.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
line. I'm not going to lie. I forgot all about Vernon Carey.
No, I don't even know who that is. All right.
That's it? That's all
That's
I
it.
got?
Know your co-host?
Okay, yeah. No, your co-host. I
Sucks.
New Year's will be the 18th anniversary of the scariest near-death experience of my life. What happened?
Oh my gosh. In detail?
Just what was?
It was a car
how did
accident
I almost
in the
die?
weather.
No,
Okay.
I choked.
On what?
I had to have the Heimlich maneuver. I choked in my vomit. I had to have the Heimlich maneuver.
Where were you von? What was?
I don't know.
You were
Just got stuck in
sleeping?
my throat.
Oh,
No.
really?
I just puked. It got stuck in my throat,
Really?
and I couldn't
Wow.
breathe.
How old were you?
I was in 8th grade, so
And were you at school or?
I was at my house. My brother was having a party. And his friend gave me the Heimlich maneuver.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I have a know your co-host, but my near-death experience, 18th year anniversary. I don't know when this was. They were daring us to jump into like an inflatable tube, like a little ring tube, but this thing was really tight, like meant for like babies or something, and it was really firm. Like it wasn't like a normal tube that could pop. It was like a lifesaver, and I tried to jump through it like this, and I put my shoulders went through, but my body didn't, and I was trapped underwater in this thing, and I couldn't flip over. And I was like a fucking like a turtle, like I couldn't get out. And I literally remember I was like in high school. I was like, this is how I die. I remember my first thoughts were like, I'm an idiot. Like I remember like I'm the dumbest person. If this is how I die in the damn little floaty tube at like it was like a football team party or something, but someone ended up coming and rescuing me, but it was crazy. Mine know your co-host.
Okay.
Mine is so much more lame. I've traveled multiple places outside of the country. What was my favorite city or favorite place?
Outside of the U.S.
Outside the U.S.
Fallujah.
I don't know where that is.
I'll
Come
go
on. Come on.
Mexico City. I don't know.
Montreal, Canada.
Montreal.
I'm a big Montreal guy. I've been there twice. It is phenomenal.
Shout out Seth.
Shout out Seth Galena, who is a Montreal native. Montreal, as they call it. That's going to do it for this episode. Just kidding. Jalen Wydermyer, Texas A&M tight end. Let's get to that interview. Now joining the Tailgate Podcast is current Texas A&M tight end Jalen Wydermyer. Jalen, great to have you on the show.
What's up, Austin? How you doing?
Doing well, man. You're back in the Houston area for the holidays. I need to know, Christmas meal, what did you get from the family this year? What's the go-to size? What's the go-to staples?
Oh, we ate everything from macaroni. We ate everything that it felt like Thanksgiving the way we ate. So we ate pretty much everything they had.
You love to see that. I haven't had a good Christmas ham in a long time. I think I'm due. I think I had steak and pasta on Christmas, but no Christmas ham. But enough of the food takes. Getting into a little bit of your Texas A&M career, and I want to start kind of early on. You were a really coveted recruit coming out of Dickinson, Texas in 2019. A 3-star, 4-star recruit with offers from Miami, Alabama, Auburn, all these blue bloods, over 20 offers in your recruiting process. Talk to me about what that was like as a recruit in high school, being recruited or lured to all of these schools, and then what ultimately kind of drew you in to enroll at Texas A&M. What all factored into that decision?
Well, it was amazing getting recruited by all these big schools, and it made the not just me happy, my family proud, my family excited, and also the Dickinson community very excited for me. So that was amazing to do. And there's a couple of reasons why I picked A&M. One would be Jimbo's offense, and I know his dedication to football and to making better, not just athletes, but better men at the end of their college careers is amazing. So that's one of the reasons why I picked it. And it's a 4-year decision, not a 40-year decision. I mean, it's a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision. And with A&M, one of the reasons I picked it, another reason why I picked it was definitely, I would say, the Aggie Network, and the network they have outside. Once people get the Aggie ring and graduate, the amount of resources they have to get good jobs, because Aggies take care of Aggies, and that's a big reason why I picked A&M.
You brought up Jimbo, and I had DeMarvin Leal on this podcast, and he talked a lot about the culture Jimbo kind of pitches in his recruiting process, and not just pitches, but also backs up. I'd love to hear your perspective on the culture Jimbo is building at Texas A&M.
Oh, he's building an amazing culture. He's definitely changing the culture of A&M and what it used to be. He wants to win a national championship there and be consistent, just as consistent as any other school in the country. And we all knew that coming in, and we were definitely prepared to do that.
So going back to as a recruit, I think you were listed at 6'5", 240. What did you play exactly in high school? Did you play some wideout, or was it kind of exclusively tight end? Did you play any defense? And did you play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, so freshman year I played receiver, and then I got bigger, and they moved me to tight end. I also ran track freshman year, and all throughout high school I played football and basketball.
Gotcha. And then did you ever think about basketball? When did football really become like your focal point? Did you ever want to pursue basketball long term or any of those other sports?
I kind of did want to pursue basketball, but I knew football was in my heart. Like I knew that football was my go-to, and I couldn't stop playing football. I can pick and choose basketball, but I couldn't stop playing football. So I've been playing it since I was 4 or 5 years old. So definitely, I feel like I was a good basketball player, but I feel like I was a lot better at football.
What kind of basketball player were you? Were you a shooter? Did you post up, or what kind of game did you have here?
I feel like well, people might tell you differently, but I feel like I was a stretch four. Somebody that could shoot, put the ball on the ground, handle the ball well, and also score the ball. Also was a good defender. My team would usually have me guarding the best guys they have on the team.
Gotcha. Going into this season, the game I really want to hone in on, I got Leal's kind of perspective of this game, but like beating Bama, talk me through start to finish that game, that experience, that locker room after. Just, I would love to hear from your perspective just how all that game went.
Well, coming into the season, we're going to be Alabama, and losing back-to-back games to Arkansas, Mississippi State was really a wake-up call for us. How are we going to beat Bama if we can't even beat Arkansas or Mississippi State? And that week of preparation was the greatest week of preparation I've ever had, being at just A&M or being in anywhere. It was a great week of preparation, and we prepared. We battled really hard against each other. Me and Marv went at it a couple of times, man. Me and him compete against each other all the time. So, and just that game, just being in Kyle Field, it was a different atmosphere in Kyle Field that night, And once we got off to a hot start, we just at halftime we just went to the locker room and I just told everybody, I want to beat them so bad.
I love that.
Right now, I've never wanted to beat somebody so bad, and we could do that. We could do that right now, and we were all honed in. They ended up taking the lead late, but Jimbo's practices are meant for 4 quarters. They're meant for 5 quarters, 6 quarters. They're meant for us to outlast any other team we're going against. And that's pretty much what we did versus Bama. What
was the celebration like, man? I mean, it had to have been surreal.
Oh, it was amazing. We celebrated all night pretty much. I think I saw the video of Zach dancing in the locker room, and yeah, it was just amazing. And it was Jimbo's birthday.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that. That's right.
So I know he celebrated for sure, and we caught him dancing too. So it was funny.
Did you run into any fans when they stormed the field, or like how did that process go? I think DeMarvin said he was just sitting on the bench, like he didn't even go on the field. Where was your head at?
I was in the middle of the field. It took about 45 to 50 minutes just to go find my family. In between all the people, I'm taking pictures and taking videos and celebrating with all the fans and stuff, but which is amazing. Like I wouldn't get that experience up for anything. And it probably took me almost 50 minutes to get into the locker room after the game. So it was amazing. It was amazing.
Now focusing a little bit on this kind of road ahead you have. I've talked to a lot of draft prospects so far, and I think you enter a really like hectic time, right? Like doing a lot of interviews, you're preparing for, combine and preparing for all this athletic testing, probably adding weight or dropping weight, dieting, all this stuff. What are some of your goals, or I guess some of your expectations for this next kind of hectic period, this pre-draft process? And I guess what are you hoping to accomplish over the next, 3-4 months?
I'm hoping to put my 40 time down. I'm hoping to just stay consistent with my catching ability and my route running, crisp up my route running. I'm looking to slim down my body and get it more muscular. You know what I'm saying? So I would say those are a few goals that I have in mind for this upcoming months.
I think you're listed at 6'4", 6'5", 255. Is that the weight you played at? And do you have a goal weight in mind as you enter this offseason?
Yeah, that's I played around 255, 250 in between there, and yeah, I can say I've been playing really well with that weight, so I can say yeah, that's my goal weight.
We kind of skipped over this, but I want to go back to it. You had DeMarvin Leal going against him in practice. Give me some stories against going up against that guy. He is a rare specimen of someone who's obviously had a lot of success at the collegiate level.
Yeah, so I've been going against him since my freshman year, since 2019, and that dude, he is so unpredictable. And that's what makes him so dangerous. He can snatch you. He can bull rush you. He can hit his signature spin move gets me. It almost gets me every time. But we definitely go back and forth with it. And he's a great athlete and a great player.
Such a versatile player too. We spent a lot of time talking about just like this guy can play anywhere. He could probably play tight end. Has he ever taken any reps on offense? He tried to steal your position?
He can run, but he tries. He always tells me, "Oh, I can play tight end. I can come play tight end." It's not that easy, but I wouldn't knock it.
Talk to me more about your film habits. I heard, a lot of players as they go through their collegiate careers, they feel that their improvement most is their football IQ and how they approach film and how they game plan. How much does that improve for you at Texas A&M? And I guess what is a game week look like for you on film, playing tight end? What are you looking for from an opposing defense, those tendencies?
So the things I look for in the defense would obviously be what down they're playing, whether they play a 4 down or a 3 down, whether they can turn that 4 down into a jam front by bringing somebody on the line. Like I could say Alabama did that a couple times. I can see how close their linebackers play and how far the linebackers play if they bite on the play action. I like to see their safety's eyes, because if their safety's eyes are in the backfield, then that's easy for a tight end to slip out and get open. Their DB's tendencies, their corners' tendencies when it comes to them cowboying, which is a corner blitz, and whether they're pressed and looking inside or whether they're 5 yards off the ball looking inside and they just come right there. So those are a few things I look for during film.
Another teammate I'd love to hear, your relationship with, or like kind of more your perspective on just how much success he's had at Texas A&M is Isaiah Spiller, right? He has been a guy in that huddle who has been such a productive player for Texas A&M, another guy that's, high on people's draft radars. What is he like in practice? And I guess speak to the relationship you have with him.
I would say something about him. For as much success that he's had over these last few years, he not one ounce of determination and has left his body. I especially saw these summer workouts. He slimmed up. He he's running faster, he's running stronger, and he's more vocal. He's a lot more vocal in the team meetings, just being a natural born leader, and that's what he's grown into, and it was great to see that.
I'd love to hear more about your leadership style. You kind of peeled back the curtain a little bit about your halftime kind of rally, like, hey, I want to beat them so bad. How have you developed, you feel, as a leader? Is it that vocal piece? Is it that kind of on the field piece?
I feel like myself. I feel like early on in my college career, about freshman year, I was kind of quiet because I was a new guy, and just learning and taking in, absorbing all the information from the veterans like Kellen or Jamon Osmond or Courtney Davis, just absorbing their information in, taking it in. And sophomore year, when I started to make plays and be one of the center points of the offense, I really started becoming more vocal and really motivated the guys in terms of my consistency in practice or my aggressiveness or just versatility in practice every week. And that's why I can say I motivated them guys doing.
We can close with this, Jalen. I really appreciate the time. You're going to go through a lot of interviews, right? It's going to be media, teams, all this stuff, all asking kind of the same series of questions. What are your strengths? How much do you love football? All that stuff. Coming out of these interviews, what's kind of the biggest thing you want teams to take away in terms of what you bring to the table and I guess the difference you bring at the position you play?
I can say I'm a really versatile player. I can do a lot of things, and I've been asked to do a lot of things at A&M. And at the end of the day, I'm just I'm being myself. I've been raised by a great family and a great community, and I want just everybody to see that and know that I come from a good place. My heart's in a good place, and that I'm a baller on the field. I could be a baller on the field. So that's what I would like them to take away from that.
Fantastic stuff, dude. I wish you the best of luck in this process. I know it's going to be hectic. I hope you get through it and get through it well. And like I said, best of luck moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much to meet you, and thank you for having me.
Now that's going to do it for the Tailgate Podcast. Thank you again. Shout out to everyone who did the speakpipe.com/tailgate submissions. Those are hilarious. I'm excited to do more as we progress forward in our mailbag episodes. We're going to get into the bonus mailbag season too. Wednesdays or Thursdays and Fridays, mailbag episodes for the boys. Until next time, though, Austin Gayle, Mike Renner, Tailgate.